Breaking news on 41 Action News starts now.
Kansas Highway Patrol is investigating a crash that killed a woman. It happened around 2 this morning on I-35 northbound before 7th Street Trafficway. The woman was walking on the interstate when she was hit. There's no information on the vehicle that hit her at this time. The case is still under investigation. The other big story we're following this morning is, of course, the weather. All the lightning, a lot of power outages overnight. Man, it was bumpy.
Large hail in many locations. We're in a lull right now, but later today, more bigger thunderstorms. Let's get a look outside right now, our KB Complete Skyview Network. A low overcast out there. Yesterday, around 90 degrees. Today will not be around 90 degrees. I'll show you all this here in a second. A very complex weather pattern setting up. Right now, what's left are a few showers and thunderstorms, mainly to the north of Kansas City right now. Northern Platte County there, around Camden Point to Plattsburgh. Some downpours, a few flashes of lightning, and they'll continue to move off to the north. It is 60 right now. KCI 58 in St. Joseph, 65 downtown, 63 in Olathe. The thunderstorms yesterday were caused by a cold front moving through, and that front is now stalling to our south. We're to 74 in Chanute, 70 in Springfield, and this front will link up with a well-defined weather system right now in West Texas. This is going to come right up I-35 and join up with the front and create more thunderstorms as we go into later today and tonight. And there is a slight risk of severe weather with the main threats, large hail and damaging winds from Kansas City back off to the southwest. But we're not going to be around 90 today. We're only going to be in the 60s. Also, flash flooding will be a threat. So as we go through the day, at 9 a.m., 61 degrees, cloudy, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms, 65 at noon, only 68, 69 degrees at 4 p.m. And that is when the thunderstorms will really start to get their act together, 4 to 8 p.m. and it could get pretty crazy around here. We're going to look at all the new data here in just a few minutes.
Jeff, thank you. I want to show you this because last night's storms caused a lot of power outages, thousands across the metro. You can look at the power outage map here. It's about 2,000 customers affected right now, but that was up around 5,000 a couple hours ago, so they're going in the right direction. Hopefully they'll be able to improve it over the morning. Now, the storms delayed some Friday night football games for local high schools last night. Other schools played their games on Thursday night to avoid the storms last night. As for the major leagues, the Royals will play their game today a little earlier because of the weather. The team called off their game in the 7th inning due to the rain last night. They tweeted out that picture, incredible picture. Look at the clouds over Kaufman. Now the Royals will play against the Twins at 1:15 this afternoon. Gates open at 11:30. And here's some video of some pretty good-sized hail falling in Smithville last night. You can see it was mixed with the rain there, coming down at a good pace. Another viewer measured the hail outside her house in Smithville. It was about 2 inches, a little bit bigger than a golf ball, so pretty sizable. And Smithville wasn't the only place that saw the hail last night. I want to show you these pieces of hail that the National Weather Service of Kansas City posted last night. You can see here, look at this. This is a quarter. This piece of hail is about twice the size of that quarter. And I want to show you this video that we posted to our Facebook because a lot of people were enjoying this last night. This is the sky camera. Look at all that lightning just flashing all around downtown Kansas City. Caught the attention of over 14,000 viewers. You can see it just lighting up the sky throughout the whole video. Rainy weather and soggy roads are not stopping 1,500 cyclists this morning. They're racing to raise money for the nearly 1 million people living with multiple sclerosis. 41 Action News reporter Jordan Betts is live in Olathe at the start line for the race. Jordan, how's it going out there?
Hey, good morning. Things are moved inside here to the garage here at the Garmin headquarters, but it's not stopping more than those 1,200 bikers that will be here biking for MS this morning. And joining us this morning is Jenna Neer. Exciting, glad the rain held off.
Absolutely. I was a little worried overnight, but it looks really good for today.
Tell me a little bit about this bike race. You say it's one of 70 throughout the country.
That's right. Bike MS is the largest fundraising cycling series in the world, and we're one of 70 rides. And we raised nearly $80 million with Bike MS across the country.
For your local chapter here, what does that kind of money do for you? The money raised to be able to bike today?
Yeah, so today we are on track to raise $1.2 million with 1,200 riders, and that funds programs and services for people with MS and their families, as well as really critical research that helps people get closer to a cure.
Yeah, and those more than 1,200 bikers, what kind of routes are they going to be taking today? You said there's a few different options.
Yeah, so you have 3 options today. You do a 40-mile, 70-mile, or if you're feeling really bold, one 100 miles today. And yeah, and then they overnight in Lawrence, and then they can choose to do another ride coming back tomorrow.
Yeah. Quickly tell me what it means to these families to be able to raise this money for MS.
Absolutely. I think that we've seen so much progress with MS, and this just brings more hope. The camaraderie, the energy, the momentum that comes with 1,200 riders and hundreds of volunteers, I think it's unparalleled for sure.
Super. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Jetta Night kicks off here in just the next hour at 7 a.m. Hopefully that rain, stays away from those bikers as they go up to almost 100 miles. Whew, I get tired even just saying that. I'll send it back to you.
Cool event. Jordan, thank you. 26 years after this, the flooding of 1993, a $500 million project will reduce the risk of severe damage in the KC area. 41 Action News reporter Tom Dempsey explains it aims to make things safer for homes and businesses.
This pump station was originally built 100 years ago.
Along the Kansas River in KCK, the resources many rely on to stay safe from flooding show their age.
It just kind of goes to show you the original construction.
Pump stations designed to manage stormwater and flood levels, showing trouble of keeping up with a changing environment.
It was never built to handle the flow, the amount of water load that we will be putting on it.
The old stations now soon to be replaced by new ones as part of a massive federal project costing over $450 million. The work targeting miles of levees and flood walls while repairing or replacing dozens of structures along the river. The improvements, all recommended following the flood of 1993, finally authorized by Congress last year. The Army Corps of Engineers estimating the extra safety measures will help reduce flooding risks by 200%.
Part of this project will include raising levees like the one I'm standing on 5 feet to keep the Kansas River from flooding businesses and homes.
Once it rises up above the certain banks, now we're below the level and water backs up into the building.
After helping to run this American Legion post near the river in KCK, Louis Madrigal told 41 Action News he'll be glad to see the improvements.
Once you've been through it one time and had your house destroyed, an extra 5 feet is immense.
A project decades in the making following a catastrophe, all to help prevent another one from happening again.
We just want to make sure that once the next flood does come through, that our levee systems, remain tight, remain safe.
Tom Dempsey, 41 Action News.
So planners expect construction to start during the fall of next year. The project should be completed by 2024. All right, all lanes of I-49 are open this morning after this fiery crash. You probably saw the flames in the sky, the smoke in the sky yesterday. It was huge. Officers say 2 other vehicles and a tanker truck crashed yesterday afternoon. It's happened in the southbound lanes near Blue Ridge Boulevard. One person was hurt and taken to the hospital. They are expected to survive. The flames could be seen for miles. A viewer sent us this video near 122nd and Warnell Road. It's about 5 miles away from the crash, but you can clearly see not only the black smoke, but some of the flames over the treetops there. The crash left hundreds of drivers stuck in traffic.
We could not get by. The flames were blowing across they were crossing over the northbound lanes at times with the wind gusts, so almost reaching the access road on the other side.
Man, several hours later, last night crews were working on the overhead sign there. You saw it got caught up in some of those flames. We're told the fire caused significant damage to the truss there. All right, I want to get to some breaking news at 6:08. Kansas City police are hoping to get a better idea of what led up to a man's death. Just before 1 this morning, officers went to an apartment on Citadel Drive and Highland Avenue, just east of MLK Boulevard. Family members say they found a man in his 20s dead inside. His death is now being investigated as a homicide. All right, coming up, an emotional night at Kauffman Stadium. How the Royals celebrated manager Ned Yost.
And outside, it is overcast. There's a few showers and thunderstorms. Also, the Royals play at 1:15. What will the weather be like at that time? We'll have all the new data coming up. You're watching 41 Action News. Clear, complete coverage.
41 Action News starts now.
A deadly officer-involved shooting in Independence. Why police were at the home in the first place. And parents concerned this morning after 2 teens brought guns to a metro school. How the community is working to stop potential violence. And it's a bridge that sees about 11,000 vehicles cross it every day. Soon, part of it will be closed. How to prepare for the traffic mess. Good morning. I'm Richard Sharp. Welcome to 41 Action News. Today we had some storms blow through overnight. So what's it going to look like today? Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Anderson. It's cool this morning.
It is, and luckily the storms are out of here as the cold front continues to move to the south and east. A few of us still waking up to some high to mid-level cloud cover out there. More clear skies in northwest Missouri, northeast Kansas, but no real rain to report out there this morning, which is a good way to start on a Friday. Now we are keeping a close eye on visibility this morning. If we get enough clearing in the sky or clouds start to move out, we may get some fog developing. It looks like the fog is really confined to a couple counties on the Kansas side. Topeka's down to 3 miles. Lawrence, so far so good, but it looks like close to the Kansas River where we're noticing some lower patchy fog and lower visibility. Current temperatures are running in the lower 60s up to northwest Missouri, northeast Kansas. We are even down to 59 in Hiawatha. That cool air will take some time before it completely overspreads our entire area. We're noticing a low of 70 in Warrensburg and 68 degrees downtown Kansas City. I anticipate these numbers to drop several more degrees before your morning rush hour with our commute into work at 59. Few clouds still lingering. Most of us will notice the sunny conditions, and that will lead us to an evening commute with sunshine and temperatures in the upper 70s. It's going to be gorgeous out there today, along with low humidity. So on that comfort index, we have refreshing conditions out there, but it doesn't last long. We're talking more humidity and heat by the end of the weekend. We'll detail those temperatures out for you here coming up, Richard.
Lindsay, thank you. Independence police are investigating this morning after a deadly police shooting. Police tell us Jackson County Sheriff's deputies and Independence police were trying to serve an arrest warrant near 25th and Hawthorne just before 7 last night. During the arrest, a sheriff's deputy shot and killed the suspect. A second person who was with the suspect was also hurt, taken to the hospital. No officers were hurt. 2 children killed in just 24 hours. A 3-year-old boy was shot and killed in St. Louis yesterday. Police officers say they tried to help the child in the back of a patrol car while another officer drove to the hospital. The child did not survive. A 13-year-old boy was also shot and killed in St. Louis yesterday, making the total of 23 children shot and killed in the St. Louis area since the start of 2019. 2 teens are facing charges this morning. The 13-year-old boys are accused of bringing guns to Hawker Grove Middle School in Shawnee on Wednesday. The principal told parents there was no evidence suggesting the students intended to use the weapons at school, but still many remain concerned.
I don't understand how a kid could think it's okay to bring a gun if loaded, unloaded, or if it's a toy or anything like that. I mean, it's not a time to be playing around anymore.
15 minutes away from school last night, the part of the community in Prairie Village gathered to call attention to gun violence. Asbury United Methodist Church invited a state lawmaker and a woman who lost her son to gun violence years ago. The goal, to try and help find a solution for safety. Kansas City will soon have more officers on the streets. More than 24 new police officers will hit the streets Sunday with their field training officers. They all graduated the academy yesterday. The graduation also included officers in Liberty, Lee Summit, and Independence. Congratulations to them all. Investigators are trying to find a cause for a bus crash. An SUV collided with a city bus last night. Skytracker flew over the scene near 39th and Prospect. The driver of the SUV is in the hospital. The bus driver and a couple of passengers were also hurt. In just a few hours, crews will close part of the 291 bridge after discovering significant deterioration. This is the bridge that crosses the Missouri River in Sugar Creek. Now, crews will close the right lane of the northbound side of the bridge this morning around 9. There's no word on when it will reopen. MoDOT sent us a couple pictures of the damage, and you can see the rust in orange there. About 11,000 vehicles cross that bridge every day. Now, one priority of Mayor Quinton Lucas is to make bus service free for everyone, but somebody has to pay for it, right? City Councilman Eric Bunch estimates that KCATA gets about $8 to $9 million a year from bus fares.
That's not a ton of money, and it's money that we as a city, I think, if we really want to prioritize public transportation, something that we could find.
Now, if the bus system is free, it would be the second form of transportation that you would have and not have to pay. A 2-mile streetcar is already free. And just this week, the city released new renderings of the proposed extension to UMKC. The city cleaned up nearly 2,100 tires in just one spot in Kansas City. Take a look at these pictures. All that work costs you, the taxpayer. Just to clean up the tires, it costs $3,700. Now, this lot is near 14th and Kensington. It's almost always covered in trash as well.
One of the hottest illegal dump sites in the city since I've started this position almost 7 years ago.
It's a quality of life issue for residents. I mean, that's not something you want to come out of your house every day and see.
Investigators want to remind people that they can call 311 with any questions about how to get rid of something instead of dumping it illegally. Call 311. Jackson County needs more help processing more than 17,000 property assessment appeals. The Board of Equalization is now hiring hearing officers. Those officers will listen to homeowners' appeals. The board plans to pay each hearing officer about $300 for a full day's work. Now, the T-Bones baseball team will not be evicted today. The unified government says it is giving the baseball team a 30-day extension. Leaders initially planned on evicting the T-Bones because the team defaulted on more than $760,000 in payments. But the UG says it's extending the deadline by 30 days because the team and the league paid $50,000. Okay, Chiefs fans, waking up this morning excited. It's Red Friday, the second week of regular season play, and the Chiefs are facing a very familiar foe. We face our AFC West rivals, the Oakland Raiders. This game is a big deal for the Chiefs. They are on the brink of breaking a very unique record. Now, this game would give the Chiefs an all-time winning record at Ring Central Coliseum. Right now, the Chiefs have 120, Raiders have 119, and there's been one tie game between the two. Now, the Chiefs are averaging about 30 points per game on the road and at home against the Raiders. So, if the Chiefs put up 26 points or more at this Sunday's game, it will be the team's 20th straight game doing so. That would set an all-time NFL record. Pretty interesting. This could be the last time the Chiefs ever play at the Oakland Ring Coliseum Stadium. The Oakland Raiders will be moving to Las Vegas next season. League owners voted 31-1 to move the team in March of 2017. The Raiders became the third team to relocate in this decade. The other two teams, of course, are familiar with St. Louis Rams. The San Diego Chargers all moved to Los Angeles. For the first time, the top 10 Democratic presidential hopefuls faced off. What America was Googling during the debate. This is interesting. Plus, this weekend, the plaza will be filled with Chiefs fans, but over 40 years ago, it looked totally different. Pictures from that day tell the story. The details coming up.
Oh, interesting. 4:36 now, and we are going to look at a beautiful day today. Low humidity with the sunshine, but it doesn't last long. We'll have the complete details on your weekend forecast coming up on 41 Action News Clear Complete Coverage.
4:39 now. This morning, Americans are asking which presidential hopeful came out on top. Democrats seeking their party's presidential nomination faced off in a fiery debate in Houston. Much of that fire was aimed at former Vice President Joe Biden. The candidates sparred over foreign policy, trade, guns, racism, and health care.
Someone making 60 grand with 3 kids, they're going to end up paying $5,000 more. They're going to end up paying 4% more on their income tax. That's a reality. Now, it's not a bad idea if you like it. I don't like it.
Saying everyone is covered by Medicare for All, every health care provider is covered, and the only question here in terms of difference is where to send the bill.
So one of the big moments on stage was when a former housing secretary, Julian Castro, questioned Joe Biden on his health care policy and his memory.
You just said 2 minutes ago that they would have to buy in. You said they would have to buy in.
If she qualifies for Medicaid,
are you forgetting what you said 2 minutes ago?
Wow, this was the first time the top 10 candidates were on stage together. The Iowa caucuses are less than 5 months away. Okay, so during the debate, Google was blowing up with questions about each of the candidates. Take a look at this map from Flourish. It shows county by county across the country which candidate was being searched most in the days before the debate. You can see the map mostly dominated by yellow here. That is Joe Biden. In fact, all counties here in the metro searched Joe Biden the most. Now, I want to show you this. Check out this graph here. This is pretty interesting. I'm going to start this from the start here. It's from Flourish as well. It shows how much people were searching researching different political issues during the debate. It goes basically minute by minute. Now you can see healthcare stayed #1 throughout the debate. It's blue here, but the rest of the top 5 changed throughout the night. Final result, healthcare was the most searched issue. The economy came in at #2, followed by immigration at #3, and wages at 4. Racism and abortion were tied for the #5 spot. Something else lots of Google users were curious about during the debate last night, the candidates' height, how tall they were. Beto O'Rourke topped the search at candidates for how tall is last night. It looks like not many people were wondering about the height of Kamala Harris. She came in dead last. All right, it's a special day for barbecue enthusiasts at the American Royal World Series of Barbecue. But there is something there for tech fans, too, that could change the way we travel in Missouri. You can see it. The details coming up next. 442, 64 degrees outside, waking up to a nice morning. Have a full forecast coming up in just a minute.
41 Action News.
444 right now. Parts of South Dakota are recovering this morning after heavy rainfall caused extensive flooding across the eastern part of the state yesterday. Look at all that. The city of Madison received almost 12 inches of rain overnight Wednesday. Memorial Creek, which runs through the city, overflowed and caused some damage. Authorities warned residents not to drive around barricades or go through floodwaters. All right, today you see the plaza filled with decorations for Red Friday, like here on the right. A lot of people excited about this, but 42 years ago this weekend, the plaza looked like this, much different. These pictures on the left here from Northeast News. This weekend is the anniversary of the 1977 Kansas City flood that almost destroyed the plaza. 18 people died when severe rain caused flash flooding in Kansas City. Now, here's the New York Times front page from that day after the floods hit. That picture right there is of the plaza flooding. More than 11 inches of rain fell between midnight on Sunday and midnight on Monday.
Now, here's Kansas City's most accurate forecast from meteorologist Lindsay Anderson.
We had a storm last night, not delivering anywhere near that, but still pretty blowy last night.
It was loud,
yeah.
Right? We had a lot of lightning and thunder out there in the evening hours. Now it's going to bring us some great weather.
All right, Lindsay, thank you. All right, I want to show this to take a live look at eastbound 435 from scout cameras approaching the Grandview Triangle. All lanes but one are closed right now eastbound because of an accident there. They're trying to get that cleaned up. We'll have a full traffic report coming up at 5. All right, a new app can make sure your kids never miss the bus again. Raytown School District launched an app this year. It tracks all 71 buses throughout the district. It not only lets parents know when the bus got to school, but when it's in your neighborhood.
So as soon as the bus drives in to this geofence during the route time, the parent gets the alert that they've set up, either email or text notification that the bus is on its way.
Oh, that's pretty cool. The new Smart Bus program also equips buses with Wi-Fi. It allows students to do their homework on the bus, especially if they're headed home after extracurricular activities. Well, today it's Girls' Night Out at the Royals game. VIP tickets benefit the American Heart Association's Go Red campaign. You can still buy tickets. They're $55. It gets you into the event early at 4:30. Plus, you can get a set of the silicone wine glasses and the bag. Now, if you have regular Royals tickets, you can still get the bag if you're one of the first 10,000 ladies through the gate. All right, can't talk about Kansas City without talking about barbecue, right? The American Royal World Series of Barbecue continues today. Right now, hundreds of barbecue enthusiasts are out at the Speedway there. Hailed as the world's largest barbecue competition. This year, the American Royal is celebrating 40 years here. The annual event includes live music, kids' activities, a beer garden, and, of course, barbecue. Today at the World Series of Barbecue, you get a chance to see a piece of technology that could revolutionize travel in Missouri. You'll be able to sit inside a Hyperloop test pod. It's designed to take you from Kansas City to St. Louis in just 30 minutes. Virgin Hyperloop One is taking its test pod on a tour across the country. The pod will be at the American Royal World Series of Barbecue today. Now, in June, a Missouri team joined Hyperloop executives in Washington, D.C. to give lawmakers an exclusive look at the Hyperloop technology. The team from Missouri showed lawmakers what the state is doing to connect the Hyperloop between Kansas City and St. Louis if they would be chosen. Missouri feasibility study in 2018 showed the planned route could cost about $10 billion. The American Royal doesn't just put on the World Series of Barbecue. This month they'll also host a couple of rodeos, including some cowboys in training. Some cute pictures here from last year. Look at that. Some mutton busting and different little rodeo activities right there. Yeah, there we go. There's the mutton busting. It's the American Royal Youth Rodeo Competition, and this year's being held is September 24th to September 27th. The champion in each event will win a handmade belt buckle and prize money of $3,500. Not bad. All right, 4:52 coming up. It's Friday the 13th. But this time it's extra spooky. What's happening this year that hasn't happened in quite a while? We'll explain. You're watching 41 Action News today. Everybody's snapping and singing in the studio right now. Temptations are putting sunshine in a not so cloudy day in Kansas City. Motown Group is playing tonight at Kansas City Symphony. Starts tonight at 8. They'll also be playing Saturday and Sunday night at the Kauffman Center. Full House fans, this one's for you. Comedian Bob Saget is coming to Kansas City tonight. He'll be performing at Ameristar tonight at 8:30. You can get your tickets now for as low as $30. All right, get ready because spooky season is here. Starting tomorrow night, you can get all your scares you want at Worlds of Fun Halloween Haunt while enjoying the normal roller coasters. You can also visit 8 haunted mazes throughout the park. Don't worry if, scary is not your thing. You can visit during the day for the Great Pumpkin Fest tickets. That starts at $30. You can scream all you want until the end of October. Speaking of all things spooky, today, Friday the 13th, we'll be joined by a full moon. Since it's the full moon closest to the autumnal equinox, or the beginning of fall, it's known as the harvest moon. It gets its name because it provides extra light in the evenings, extending harvest time for farmers. Last time harvest moon fell on Friday the 13th was way back in October of 2000. All right, coming up at 5. Growing illegal dumping problem across the metro. How it could still cost you even if you're not the one leaving the mess. The American World Series of Barbecue continues today. We're talking to some of the judges, what they're going to be looking at for the winning team. That's coming up.